Have you ever noticed that some days after eating a bowl of rice noodles or pho you've eaten your whole life, your body feels heavier, more tired, almost foggy, even though you thought you were eating something safe? What most people don't realize is that this isn't random and it isn't just about calories or carbs. In fact, for millions of people, especially over the age of 40, this small daily habit may be quietly putting stress on their kidneys without a single warning sign. Here's the part that should stop you in your tracks. 2 bowls of rice noodles can look almost identical and yet one can help your kidneys function more smoothly, while the other slowly pushes your blood sugar up, increases mineral buildup, and forces your kidneys to work harder day after day. No pain, no alarm, just silent strain that adds up over time. I'm Dr. Johnny, and what worries me is that most people don't damage their kidneys with extreme behavior. They do it with ordinary food eaten the wrong way for years. And once kidney function starts declining, it rarely announces itself early. That's why this matters now, not later. But here's the good news. You don't need to give up rice noodles. You don't need a strict or miserable diet. Today I'm going to show you 3 specific types of rice noodles you can actually find and eat in real life that help reduce stress on your kidneys, not by detoxing them, but by allowing your body's natural filtration system to work the way it was designed to. And the third one on this list surprises almost everyone because it's often dismissed as ordinary food, when in reality your body handles it very differently than you think. Stay with me because understanding this difference could quietly change how your body feels after meals and how your kidneys perform for years to come. When most people hear white rice vermicelli, they immediately think it's just empty carbs, plain, boring. Something you should probably avoid if you care about your health. But this assumption is exactly where many people go wrong, especially when it comes to kidney health. Because protecting your kidneys is not about eating the most powerful or trendy foods. It's about choosing foods that don't quietly overload your body day after day. I remember speaking with a man in his early 50s who thought he was doing everything right. He cut out refined foods, switched to whole grains, and followed what he believed was a clean, healthy diet. On paper, it looked perfect. But within a month, he noticed something strange. After meals, he felt heavier. His energy dipped sharply in the afternoon. His stomach felt bloated, even though he wasn't overeating. What changed wasn't his calorie intake. It wasn't his portion size. It was the silent workload he placed on his kidneys. Your kidneys have one main responsibility: filtering waste, excess minerals, and extra fluid from your blood. They don't care if a food is popular or labeled as a superfood. They only care about how hard they have to work. And when that workload increases slowly over time, kidney damage doesn't announce itself with pain. It progresses quietly, often unnoticed, until the problem becomes serious. This is where white rice vermicelli becomes surprisingly relevant. Unlike many whole grain or fortified starches, white rice vermicelli is naturally low in potassium and phosphorus. These minerals are essential in small amounts, but when they accumulate in the bloodstream, they force the kidneys to work harder just to maintain balance. As we get older, our kidneys become less efficient at handling that excess, which is why mineral load matters far more than most people realize. Studies in kidney nutrition consistently show that long-term reduction of excess phosphorus intake helps protect kidney function well before lab results begin to worsen. The danger of phosphorus is that it doesn't always make you feel bad immediately. It builds up quietly, and many foods that appear healthy on the surface contain far more of it than your kidneys can comfortably manage over time. White rice vermicelli avoids this issue almost entirely. Because it's made from refined rice, it breaks down easily during digestion. That means your body can convert it into usable energy without creating a large amount of metabolic waste. Less waste in your bloodstream means less material your kidneys need to filter later. Think of it as reducing pressure before it ever reaches the system. Now let's address a common misconception. White rice vermicelli does not detox your kidneys. There is no food that magically cleans them. What it does instead is far more important. It doesn't interfere with your body's natural filtration process. When the kidneys aren't overwhelmed by excess minerals, sodium, or digestive byproducts, they can do their job more efficiently on their own. Preparation, however, makes all the difference. Even the right food can become harmful if it's handled carelessly. Cooking white rice vermicelli properly matters. Boiling it until tender and then lightly rinsing it helps remove excess surface starch. That simple step reduces sharp blood sugar spikes, which is critical because repeated glucose surges are one of the fastest ways to accelerate kidney damage over time. Blood sugar control and kidney health are deeply connected. Frequent spikes increase oxidative stress damage small blood vessels and slowly impair the kidney's filtration units. That's why something as simple as rinsing noodles is not a minor detail. It's a protective habit. What you pair with the noodles matters even more. Sodium is one of the most underestimated threats to kidney health. Salty broths, seasoning packets, and processed sauces force the body to retain water and raise blood pressure. Both effects place direct strain on the kidneys. Choosing a low-sodium broth or a lightly seasoned homemade base allows the kidneys to stay relaxed instead of constantly compensating. Protein balance is just as important. Your body needs protein to maintain strength and repair tissue, but too much protein creates excess nitrogen waste that the kidneys must filter. Lean options like skinless chicken, whitefish, shrimp, or tofu provide nourishment without overwhelming the system. Kidney-friendly eating isn't about eliminating protein. It's about keeping the workload reasonable. Vegetables support this process as well. Lower potassium choices like cabbage, carrots, zucchini, or bean sprouts add fiber and help move waste through the digestive tract instead of sending everything into the bloodstream. Better digestion means fewer toxins recirculate back to the kidneys, a connection many people overlook. And then there's the mistake almost everyone makes: flavor shortcuts. Soy sauce, instant soup bases, and seasoning packets are often loaded with sodium and additives that quietly cancel out all the benefits of the meal. Fresh herbs, garlic, ginger, or a squeeze of lemon create depth without stressing your kidneys. Over time, that difference adds up more than you think. Portion size still matters. Even kidney-friendly foods can become harmful when eaten in excess. A reasonable bowl of white rice vermicelli provides steady energy without pushing blood sugar or digestion too far. Eating slowly allows your body to recognize fullness, sooner reducing unnecessary strain on your system. So when you look at white rice vermicelli this way, it stops being just plain noodles. It becomes a strategic foundation. Simple, light, easy to digest, and flexible enough to support your kidneys instead of working against them. Not because it's trendy, but because it quietly reduces daily stress on one of the most important organs in your body. But here's the key point most people miss. Mineral load is only one piece of the puzzle, because food doesn't just affect your kidneys through what it contains, it also affects them through something else entirely, something even more powerful. And if you don't understand that next factor, you could still be stressing your kidneys, even when you think you're eating right. In the last part, we talked about mineral load, potassium, phosphorus, and how quietly they can overload your kidneys over time. But here's what most people miss. Food doesn't stress your kidneys only because of what's inside it. Sometimes what matters even more is how your body processes fluids alongside that food. And this is exactly where rice noodle sheets, the kind used in pho, change the entire conversation. I've heard people say this many times. I eat pho all the time, but sometimes I feel light and energized after. Other times I feel swollen, thirsty, and exhausted. Same restaurant, same bowl size, same noodles. So what changed? The answer isn't mysterious. It's hydration, sodium, and how hard the kidneys are forced to work afterward. Pho rice noodle sheets are made from just rice, flour, and water. That simplicity matters. Unlike many packaged noodles or wheat-based products, traditional rice noodle sheets typically contain no added phosphorus preservatives. That's a big deal because research consistently shows that phosphorus additives, not natural phosphorus, are absorbed almost completely by the body and place disproportionate stress on the kidneys. Many people consume them daily without realizing it. Digestively, rice noodle sheets are soft and smooth. They break down easily, which means your gut doesn't have to struggle, and fewer waste byproducts end up circulating in the blood. Less waste in the bloodstream means less filtration pressure on the kidneys later. This is why some people feel heavy after eating certain noodle dishes, while pho, when done right, feels surprisingly gentle. But the real advantage of pho doesn't come from the noodles alone. It comes from the broth. Hydration is one of the most underestimated factors in kidney health. Your kidneys rely on adequate fluid to flush toxins out through urine instead of allowing them to accumulate in the blood. When the body is well hydrated, filtration becomes smoother, faster, and less damaging over time. Here's a simple comparison I often use. Think of your kidneys like a water filter. Try to run thick, concentrated fluid through it, and the filter clogs faster. Run clean, adequately diluted fluid through it, and the filter lasts much longer. Pho, when prepared properly, delivers nourishment and hydration at the same time, something very few meals actually do. However, this is where things go wrong for most people. Sodium. A broth that's too salty completely reverses the benefit. Excess sodium forces the body to retain water, raises blood pressure, and directly increases the workload on the kidneys. Over time, this combination accelerates kidney damage far more than most people expect. Studies have repeatedly shown that high sodium intake is associated with faster progression of kidney disease, even in people who don't yet have diagnosed kidney problems. And the tricky part is, this salty broth doesn't always taste salty once your taste buds adapt. That's why so many people think they're eating fine while their kidneys are quietly struggling. I once spoke with someone who ate pho 3 to 4 times a week. He believed it was a light, healthy meal, but his blood pressure was creeping up and his lab results showed early kidney stress. When he switched to requesting low-sodium broth and stopped adding extra sauces, his swelling reduced within weeks. Same food, completely different outcome. Protein balance matters here too. Pho doesn't need large portions of meat to be nourishing. Thin slices of lean beef, chicken, or fish provide enough amino acids without flooding the kidneys with protein waste. When protein intake is excessive, nitrogenous byproducts increase, forcing the kidneys to filter more aggressively. Moderate portions support strength without unnecessary strain. Vegetables and herbs complete the picture. Fresh herbs like cilantro, basil, and green onions add flavor without sodium. Bean sprouts, onions, and small amounts of cabbage add fiber, supporting digestion and helping redirect waste through the gut instead of the bloodstream. This shared workload reduces kidney stress over time. The biggest mistake people make with PAO is what they add afterward. Hoisin sauce, extra fish sauce, chili paste, all loaded with sodium and additives. These ingredients quietly undo the benefits of the entire meal. A squeeze of lime, a bit of ginger, or fresh herbs enhance flavor without triggering fluid retention or blood pressure spikes. Portion size still matters. An oversized bowl can overwhelm digestion and spike blood sugar even if the ingredients are right. A moderate bowl provides warmth, hydration, and steady energy without pushing the body into compensation mode. When rice noodle sheets are eaten this way, pho becomes more than comfort food. It becomes a functional meal that supports hydration, gentle digestion, and efficient filtration. It allows the kidneys to do their job instead of constantly correcting imbalances. But here's the critical transition. Even with perfect hydration and low sodium, many people still feel drained after noodle meals. And that's because there's one more factor that silently determines whether your kidneys stay protected or slowly break down over time. Just knowing this much isn't enough because the next factor is even more dangerous and almost everyone overlooks it. Up to this point, we've talked about mineral load and hydration, potassium, phosphorus, sodium, and water. But there's one more factor that often matters even more than all of them combined, and it's the reason many people still feel drained after noodle meals, even when they think they're doing everything right. That factor is how your body handles energy and blood sugar, and this is where rice flat noodles quietly separate themselves from the rest. Rice flat noodles don't look impressive, they're not marketed as healthy, they're not trendy, and because of that, most people completely overlook them. But sometimes the most ordinary foods are the ones your body handles best, especially as you get older. I once spoke with a woman in her late 40s who told me something interesting. On days she ate rich noodle dishes, she felt sleepy, heavy, and unfocused for hours. But on days she ate a simple bowl with flat rice noodles, lean protein, and light broth, she felt steady, clear, and surprisingly energetic. Same calories, similar portions, completely different response. The difference wasn't willpower, it was physiology. Rice flat noodles are made primarily from rice with very little fat and naturally low potassium content. That combination matters. Excess fat slows digestion and prolongs the time food sits in the gut, increasing metabolic stress. High potassium, when it accumulates faster than the kidneys can clear, it adds another layer of strain. Rice flat noodles avoid both problems, which is why they tend to feel lighter in the body. From a digestive standpoint, these noodles are soft and easy to break down. When digestion runs smoothly, fewer waste byproducts enter the bloodstream. That directly reduces the workload placed on the kidneys. Digestive stress doesn't stay confined to your stomach. Over time, it increases systemic inflammation and quietly raises the burden on your filtration system. Now let's talk about energy, because this is where many people unintentionally harm their kidneys. Rice flat noodles provide simple carbohydrates, but when eaten in reasonable portions and cooked correctly, they deliver clean, steady energy rather than sharp spikes. Stable energy means stable blood sugar, and stable blood sugar is one of the strongest long-term protectors of kidney function. Why does this matter so much? Because repeated blood sugar spikes damage the tiny blood vessels inside the kidneys. This damage happens slowly, often over years, and it's one of the main pathways that leads people from normal labs to chronic kidney disease without ever realizing what went wrong. Foods that help keep glucose levels steady reduce that risk quietly but powerfully. Preparation makes or breaks this benefit. Rice flat noodles should be cooked gently until just soft. Overcooking them increases their glycemic impact and turns a light meal into a blood sugar stressor. After cooking, they should be drained well and kept free from heavy oils and thick sauces. The goal isn't richness, it's ease. These noodles are often served either dry or in broth. For kidney support, the broth version can be helpful, but only if it's clean and lightly seasoned. Hydration supports filtration, but excess sodium cancels that advantage instantly. A clear, low-sodium broth made from vegetables or bones provides warmth and fluid without forcing the kidneys into compensation mode. Protein still needs moderation here. Lean pork, chicken, fish, or shrimp work well, but large portions do not. Excess protein produces nitrogenous waste that the kidneys must remove. Kidney-friendly eating focuses on balance, not extremes. Enough protein to maintain strength, but not so much that filtration becomes a constant struggle. Vegetables quietly improve this meal further. Small amounts of leafy greens, lettuce, bean sprouts, carrots, or cucumbers add fiber, helping redirect waste through the digestive tract instead of pushing everything through the kidneys. This shared workload improves efficiency over time and reduces long-term strain. Flavor is important, but this is where many people undo everything. Heavy sauces, seasoning packets, and generous splashes of fish. Sauce or soy sauce are high in sodium and additives. They don't just add taste, they add pressure. Garlic, green onions, fresh herbs, or a squeeze of lime add brightness without triggering fluid retention or blood pressure spikes. Portion size remains critical. A reasonable bowl provides comfort and energy without overwhelming digestion or blood sugar control. Eating slowly enhances this effect, allowing the body to process food efficiently and recognize fullness sooner. Over time, this habit alone can reduce unnecessary stress on the kidneys. So rice flat noodles may never be labeled a superfood, but their strength lies in what they don't do. They don't overload your kidneys with minerals. They don't spike blood sugar when prepared properly. They don't slow digestion with heavy fats. They quietly allow your body to stay balanced. And when you put all of this together, you begin to see the pattern. Kidney health isn't destroyed by one bad meal. It's shaped by thousands of small, ordinary choices made over years. Foods like rice, flat noodles support the kidneys, not by doing something dramatic, but by staying out of the way. But here's the final truth most people still miss. Even if you choose the right noodles, manage hydration, and control blood sugar, your kidneys can still suffer if you ignore one last principle, the way all of these habits stack together over time. Because knowing each piece alone still isn't enough. And the final connection may be the most dangerous one of all. Before we wrap up, I want to say this clearly. If you've been worried about your kidneys, or if you've ever felt confused about what you're allowed to eat, you're not failing. Most people don't damage their kidneys on purpose. They simply weren't given the right information early enough. And the fact that you're still watching right now tells me one important thing: you care about your health, and that already puts you ahead of the curve. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need to give up the foods you grew up with. What truly protects your kidneys are small, consistent choices made day after day, choosing the right type of noodles, keeping sodium under control, balancing protein, and listening to how your body responds after meals. These aren't dramatic changes, but they are powerful ones when they add up over time. If this video helped you understand your body a little better, I encourage you to save it. Come back to it when you're planning meals or when you feel unsure about what's actually safe for your kidneys. And make sure to subscribe to the channel because I share the latest evidence-based medical insights designed to help you protect your kidneys naturally and realistically, without fear and without unnecessary restrictions. And remember this, your kidneys don't need perfection. They need patience, consistency, and care. The choices you make today don't just affect how you feel tomorrow, they shape how your body will support you for years to come. Stay informed, stay gentle with your body, and know that you're not alone on this journey.